Hi clarinetists, today I'm going to show you how to put together your clarinet. We're going to start by making sure that on the top of your case it says either RES or that it says Vito, V-I-T-O, the name of your clarinet, or that it has an Ellis music sticker on it somewhere. If you do it the wrong direction and you open it with the bottom on top, everything's going to go everywhere and you're probably going to break something. So make sure it's on the floor in front of you and it says RES on top. Then you can open both of the latches, pull the top up nicely, and I'm just going to show you what each piece is. By the hinge, we have our lower joint, say lower joint. Then we have our barrel, say barrel. We have our mouthpiece, and there's also a couple other parts to this. The mouthpiece cap, which we'll just put back in our case when we're not playing, and our ligature, that's the metal thing that goes around our mouthpiece. Next to that, we have the bell. And finally, on the bottom here, we have our upper joint, say upper joint. And then you've got some cork grease in there, and you should also have a swab. If you don't have a swab, you will eventually need to get one because I'm going to go over that in this video as well. So to assemble it, we're not going to go over the mouthpiece and reed assembly in this video. That will be a separate video because it takes quite a while to get used to doing this. So we're only going to assemble from the bell to the barrel today. So take your bell and hold it gently in one of your hands. Then you're going to take the lower joint. The lower joint has one side that has cork and one side that does not have cork. So we're going to take the cork side and very gently, while holding our lower joint, so that you're not touching the metal as much as possible. I'm holding only where it's plastic so I don't bend anything. And then I gently twist these two parts together. If they don't go, please watch the video where I explain how to put cork grease on. It's very simple. All you do is take your cork grease, you put a little bit on, spread it around with your finger, and then it slides right on. So we have our bell and our lower joint put together. Here is the trickiest part, so watch carefully. We're going to take our upper joint out of the case. The upper joint has cork on two sides, the top and the bottom. The top is the part that doesn't have all the keys. The bottom of this has 4 metal keys all in a row. You need to be very careful with those that you don't bend them. Near those keys, you'll see that we have 3 holes, just like on our recorders, B, A, and G. Right here on the second hole, you're going to hold that metal piece down with your thumb on that second hole. That moves this, let me get a good angle. If I do that, it moves this tiny little metal piece right here. That needs to be up, not down when I'm putting this together. So pay attention to that tiny little metal piece that moves up and down by my finger. That needs to be up. And that's where my eyes are going to look when I align the holes. Just like our recorder, they need to be in line. And I am going to twist the tiniest little bit, tiny little twists, so that that metal piece, I'm still holding down my thumb on that second hole. When I twist it into place, that metal piece, you can see it lifting, is over top of the lower joint that also has a piece that will lift that area. Those work together and need to be right on top of each other. That's the hardest part about putting together your clarinet, is you have to have your thumb on here on the second hole when you're putting it together. And then you need to make sure that those plates, that the upper joint goes on top of the lower joint plate. And then when you push your first finger down, those plates right there should be lifting together. All right, and now all you gotta do is take your barrel. There's a bigger end and a smaller end, and you put the bigger end on. And remember, we're trying not to touch metal when we do this. We're trying to only touch plastic, and you just gently twist back and forth until it's on. And that's how you put it together. Now, we will talk about the mouthpiece in the next video because that is a little difficult to put together. But I do want to talk about what you do before you disassemble or take apart your clarinet. You need a swab for this portion. And I'm actually going to turn so that we're looking at me now. So the swab is very important. It might be felt. It might be silk. It all depends on what you have. Mine is made of felt. On one end of the string, there's a weight. I'm going to take the weight and put it into the barrel. So after I've played, there's some moisture and water inside of my clarinet. And if I put it away in the case with that moisture still inside, it is going to be disgusting and probably grow some mold. So we have to swab it out. I say a minimum of 3 times. So the weight is now all the way in there, and I've got my felt at the top. I just am going to pull the felt through, and it came out the bottom. I'm going to do that 3 times. It only takes about 10 seconds once you get good at this to do it 3 times. So I just pull it through. Now, what happens if it doesn't want to go through? Don't pull it. There is a little peg inside of here that sometimes it gets caught on. Should I just yank as hard as I can? No, you're going to break that peg, and it is about $300 to fix. So if I'm pulling and it won't come, I'm going to pull the felt this direction. Try again. Okay, never force this through. Once you've done that, you can put your swab back in your case. Again, as we take apart, we're going to do it the opposite direction. So I'm going to hold the barrel. I'm going to hold the upper joint, gently twist back and forth, and then don't drop your clarinet like I just did. Luckily, it was only the barrel. The barrel goes back in the case. Then our thumb goes on that second hole. I gently twist these 2 apart. I'm holding down still with my thumb. I gently twist them apart. I put my upper joint back in the case. I hold plastic, and I hold plastic on the bell, and be very careful not to bend this bar right here. And I'm going to gently twist the lower joint and the bell apart. And now my clarinet is nicely back in its case. Please watch the next video on how to put together your mouthpiece and your reed. See you.